Hi, this is Scott Arnaud with this week's security tip. Today let's talk about sharing personal information on social media sites. Now, of course, by definition, social media exists to share information. Of course, on the other hand, oversharing can lead to identity theft, physical theft, and misuse of that data for what's called spear phishing. Spear phishing is when someone sends you an email to try and trick you into downloading something or responding or giving up information. But it's more than the usual, like, oh, your bank says your card is going to expire. That's a regular what's called a phishing attack. Spear phishing is where it's exact. It'll call you by name and it'll give you details that they shouldn't be able to know unless they know you, except they got them off Facebook or they got them off Twitter or some other social media site, Pinterest perhaps. Now, what do you have to do to safeguard your information? Well, for starters, just because you can list something doesn't mean you should. You should never have your full birthday listed. I don't think it's a good idea to have your hometown, your high school, etc., because that information out there people can get to. And of course, you can keep your privacy settings on the site much more limited. You should always keep it set to friends only. Certainly not the general public, and friends of friends can also be asking for trouble because then you're assuming your friends have connected to people they know, and not everyone is that smart about it. Also, you want to keep your location a little more general. Yes, your friends might know exactly which city you live in. Does everyone else need to know that? How about a region? You live in the Northeast, you live in New York, say, or you live in California, say. You don't have to give your exact town. Also, when you give away where you are via tagging, you're not only giving away what location you're in and places you've gone for people to use it against you later. Say, scam you by, hey, remember that time we were off in the Yukon? Yeah, of course. It also tells people when you're not home. Because if you're tagging in from somewhere across the country from where you live, well, who's guarding your house or apartment? Now, also, adding people you actually don't know is especially risky, and if it is a friend of a friend, ask that friend, your friend, how do they know them? Because sometimes your friend will say, oh, it's just this guy who keeps trying to connect to me. I finally said yes. Do you want that person connected to you? Probably not. Also, when you're using your social media accounts, don't forget to log out when you're finished. Now, if it's someone simply walking up to your laptop or someone gets access to your phone, either from it being stolen or lost or whatever, if you're logged into these sites, they can just turn on the computer or literally move the mouse or flip on the phone and start using it in many cases. Now, also make sure that the software on your computer is kept up to date. This is always good advice all the time for security, because anytime there's any sort of attack coming online through a social media site or anything else, it'll always attack older versions of software. A few times it'll do what's called a ZeroDay Attack, which is something brand spanking new. That's less likely. What's much more likely is it's something that's already been fixed. But if you haven't downloaded it yet, it'll work on your computer because the patch hasn't been put in place. And, as a short and simple thing, always think before you click, because these attacks will often come through an infected link, and while you can see them through an email or you can see them while you're surfing the web, they also show up on social media sites. One thing that popped up a few years back on Facebook were these links that would say, hey, see who's visited your Facebook profile by clicking on this link. Now, there's one little problem. Facebook does not happen to offer that feature, never has, and I'm guessing never will. But of course, people are curious to know, so they would click on the link, it'd ask a little survey question and take you to a few more spaces and let you download the software, which didn't do anything good to your computer and certainly didn't offer the suggested feature. So it's always best to not jump in and assume that what you're looking at is probably fishy if it looks like it is. Just assume it's bad. That said, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about this or other areas of computer security, please stop by thesecurityadvocate.com. Thanks so much for your time and have an excellent week.